The first 3 chapters went into great detail about TRM and CRM. Although we are continuing to discuss these models, tonight I will put a bit more emphasis on the reprocessing skills that are specifically geared toward TRM. The 3 reprocessing skills. 1. Titration involves breaking down overwhelming traumatic material into small, manageable pieces so that the client can process sensations without being flooded. Rather than diving headfirst into the deep end of trauma, titration means dipping a toe in and stepping back out repeatedly. Here's an analogy to help. It's like slowly adding drops of hot water to a cool bath rather than jumping straight in. The goal is for the nervous system to learn that it can handle distress in small doses, thereby building resilience rather than re-triggering overwhelm. Second is pendulation, which is the natural rhythm between discomfort and comfort. Clients are guided to move their awareness back and forth between distressing sensations activation and calming or neutral sensations resourcing or grounding. The analogy would be like a pendulum swinging. One side holds the pain, the other holds relief. Both are part of the whole, and the swinging teaches flexibility. Your goal for your client is to learn how to build the nervous system's capacity to tolerate stress and restore balance. Number 3, completing survival responses. Trauma often interrupts the body's instinctive fight, flight, or freeze responses. Completing survival responses allows the client to symbolically or physically finish what the body wanted to do but couldn't at the time. For example, pushing away, running, yelling. For example, imagine a sneeze that was stuck. Once it comes out, there's relief. The body finishing the job reduces residual stress. Therefore, we release stuck survival energy and restore a sense of empowerment. Now for clinical integration examples. Practicing titration. A client begins recalling a car accident and suddenly tenses up, saying their chest feels tight. Instead of pressing for the whole story, the clinician encourages noticing just. Miller Karras discusses how Lamaze childbirth education is a foundational root of TRM. Understand that the Lamaze approach to childbirth education, especially as practiced in the 1970s and 80s, was more than breathing techniques and birthing plans. At its core, it emphasized a feminist perspective on body awareness, agency, and natural rhythms. Through Lamaze and doula work, practitioners learn to attend to rather than control the body's innate processes. A doula's role wasn't to fix labor, but to witness, guide, and support the laboring woman's body as it moved through one of the most stressful biological events possible. This meant noticing the shifts in breathing, muscle contractions, and emotional expressions. Supporting the woman's ability to ride the waves of intensity, offering compassion and grounding presence so the natural rhythms of the body could unfold. This perspective deeply influenced TRM's roots. Parallels to TRM practice. In TRM, the practitioner's stance mirrors the doula's role in childbirth, not directing, but being with. Just as doulas don't force the birth process, TRM practitioners don't force trauma processing. Instead, they guide clients toward awareness of their body's natural rhythms. Attending to sensations. A doula might help a mother notice her breath between contractions. Similarly, a TRM practitioner helps clients notice grounding or soothing sensations between waves of traumatic activation. Trusting the body's wisdom. Birth unfolds through cycles of contraction and release. Trauma healing also moves through cycles of activation and settling, titration and pendulation. The transformational lens. The childbirth metaphor adds depth to understanding trauma work. In both cases, the body can generate overwhelming pain and intensity, but it also carries the rhythms of resolution and renewal. Clients in TRM often describe their healing as a kind of rebirth, where self-compassion, forgiveness, and empowerment emerge after moving through pain. This reflects the feminist principle of honoring the body's inherent wisdom and rejecting overly medicalized or authoritarian approaches to healing. Lamaze and doula practice. Somatic-based methods, foundations of body-oriented trauma work. Somatic-based methods are trauma therapies that focus on the body's role in storing and releasing trauma. Unlike approaches that focus mainly on thoughts or behavior, somatic methods highlight how the nervous system and body sensations are central to both trauma symptoms and healing. Influential pioneers. Many well-known thinkers shaped this field. Peter Levine, Somatic Experiencing. Pat Ogden, Sensory Motor Psychotherapy. Judith Herman, Trauma and Recovery. Babette Rothschild, Somatic Trauma Therapy. Among these, Peter Levine had a powerful influence on Elaine Miller-Karras in developing TRM. Levine's work drew from diverse fields: stress physiology, neuroscience, ethology, the study of animal behavior, indigenous healing, and psychology, to create ways of releasing trauma energy that gets stuck in the body. How TRM builds on somatic experiencing. While TRM shares roots with Levine's somatic experiencing, it has its own unique features. Start with regulation skills. TRM begins by teaching 6 wellness skills, giving clients tools to regulate themselves before exploring trauma material. Looking through the biological lens. TRM views trauma symptoms as natural biological responses, not signs of weakness or pathology. Staying a half step behind. TRM practitioners follow the client's process rather than leading it, always respecting the client's pace. Why does the client's meaning matter? In TRM, practitioners don't interpret what a client's sensations or movements mean. Instead, they ask the client to share their own interpretation. Accessibility and training. Another major difference. Somatic-based trainings like somatic experiencing can take years and are costly. TRM training is more accessible, offered in 2 modules, Level 1 and Level 2, 6 days each, with consultation and supervised practice leading to certification. This makes TRM a practical option for clinicians who want. Let's review the laws of nature, the elegant design. So in nature, everything moves according to rhythms and cycles. The seasons shift from winter to spring. The moon waxes and wanes. The ocean ebbs and flows. There are sunny days and there are storms. Again, nature moves toward balance. Human beings are no different. Our bodies also follow rhythms. The autonomic nervous system is designed to give us bursts of energy when we face danger, fight, flight, or freeze, and then calm us back down when the threat passes. This rhythm, activation, and settling is part of our body's elegant design. Why this matters for trauma and healing. When trauma disrupts our lives, it can feel like being stuck in winter or trapped in a storm. But nature teaches us that storms pass. Distress is real, but it doesn't have to last forever. New growth comes. Just like spring follows winter, healing and renewal are possible. We can choose where we place our attention. If we only focus on the storm, that becomes our world. If we also notice calm, safety, or joy, even in small ways, those experiences expand. See it as a garden. Healing is like cultivating a garden. If we nourish the soil, water the plants, and give them sunlight, the garden thrives. There will always be weeds, unwanted or difficult experiences, but fewer of them when we keep tending the garden. And sometimes even weeds have meaning. They can represent life lessons or challenges that shaped us. Therefore, when we embrace the idea that we are part of nature's rhythms, we recognize that trauma symptoms are not permanent states, but part of cycles. Just as seasons change, sensations of distress can shift when we learn to notice and cultivate sensations of well-being. In practice, a TRM practitioner helps clients tend their inner garden, expanding resilience and compassion while respecting the meaningful role of past struggles. It's all connected.
Eugene Gendlin's Focusing and the Felt Sense. Eugene Gendlin, a philosopher and psychotherapist, introduced the practice of focusing, a method for tuning into the body's subtle signals. His key idea was the felt sense. The felt sense isn't just an emotion like anger or sadness, and it's not just a physical symptom like a stomachache. Instead, it's a holistic bodily awareness, a something you can feel inside that carries meaning, even if you can't put it into words right away. When people pay attention to this inner bodily sense, new insights, solutions, or shifts often emerge. Importantly, the felt sense changes as you notice it. It's alive, fluid, and responsive. In TRM, practitioners invite clients to become aware of their felt sense, particularly sensations of well-being. This helps new meanings, beliefs, and feelings surface naturally, like discovering fresh perspectives hidden within the body. Neuroscience and the felt sense. Neuroscience explains why focusing on the body can change how we experience trauma and resilience. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, means we are not locked into old traumatic patterns. When clients practice TRM skills, they're actually rewiring neural networks to favor regulation and well-being. Just as repeated physical exercise strengthens muscles, repeated attention to the felt sense of well-being strengthens neural pathways that support calm and resilience. For example, when a client notices the warmth of their hands instead of staying stuck in the panic of a racing heart, they are training their brain to recognize multiple sensations and expand toward balance. Graduate level takeaway. Gendlin's contribution. The felt sense is a doorway to new meaning and healing. TRM's innovation. Teaching clients to notice and expand sensations of well-being gives the nervous system a chance to reset. Neuroscience link. Neuroplasticity shows us that attention literally changes the brain, making resilience possible, even as sensory integration theory, Ayers, Williams, and Schellenberger. Gene Ayers, an occupational therapist and neuroscientist at UCLA, studied children who struggled with attending, staying focused and present. She discovered that for many, the world felt as if it were spinning out of control, making learning difficult. Through simple, grounding exercises, she helped children feel safe in their bodies and more connected to the present moment, which improved their ability to learn. This work is foundational for TRM because trauma often leaves people feeling knocked off their feet or floating outside the body. Grounding methods, like focusing on feet on the floor,
noticing breath, or feeling support from a chair help restore a sense of safety and presence. Grounding is the first step in learning to regulate the nervous system after trauma. Williams and Schellenberger, 1996, in How Does My Engine Run, expanded this work into everyday environments, home, school, and playground, by offering sensory-based activities to help children regulate their arousal and focus. TRM draws from this idea by teaching clients to reconnect with body sensations in safe, simple ways. Solution-focused psychotherapy and TRM. Like solution-focused psychotherapy, SFP, TRM takes a non-directive and strength-based approach. In SFP, therapists assume clients already hold the best solutions for their challenges. In TRM, practitioners also avoid making interpretations and instead encourage clients' curiosity about their internal sensory experience. Both models are grounded in the belief that focusing on strengths and resources builds resilience. Examples. An SFP therapist might ask, "What's going well in your life right now?" A TRM practitioner might ask, "What brings you joy, peace, or meaning?" And then invite the client to notice the body sensations that come with that positive memory or resource. This shared stance of trusting the client's wisdom empowers individuals and helps them expand their capacity for well-being. Then you have resiliency-informed interventions. Both sensory integration theory and solution-focused psychotherapy. Now let's discuss resiliency-informed interventions. In public health and mental health, we often talk about creating trauma-informed systems, settings where professionals understand the impact of trauma and avoid practices that could re-traumatize. That's important, but it's only half the picture. Being resiliency-informed means going a step further. Instead of focusing only on how trauma affects people, we also ask, how can we strengthen people's capacity for well-being? How can systems and communities actively promote resilience, not just prevent harm? Key principles to be aware of. First, deepen your well-being. The first goal is to help individuals notice, experience, and expand their sense of well-being. This creates a foundation of safety and balance. Once that is achieved, you'll introduce flexibility and adaptation. With a stronger sense of well-being, people are better able to navigate stress, adapt to challenges, and recover from setbacks. Solution-focused mindset. Resiliency-informed individuals and systems approach problems with creativity and adaptability. This mindset allows new ideas for healing to emerge at both the personal and systemic levels. So remember, a trauma-informed approach focuses on understanding the wound. A resiliency-informed approach focuses on building the strengths that allow healing and growth. Together, they create individuals, systems, and communities that not only avoid re-traumatization, but also foster transformation and thriving. Essentially, resiliency-informed interventions teach individuals to cultivate their inner garden of well-being, enabling them to weather life's storms and contribute to their community's growth and strength. We will stop here for the evening. Please be sure to read the entire chapter. If you have not finished the in-class assignment, please be sure to do so and submit it this evening. Also, be sure to watch the short film on trauma. We'll talk again next week. Have a great evening.